Hey, Winnie Anderson here. The video you're about to watch is a recording of a Blab event that I did recently with Hanna of Address2.com. They're a CRM company, and Troy was one of my very first guests on Let's Talk Tech. So you can listen to that original episode at the letstalktechshow.com/4, or you can find it on iTunes at techshowpodcast.com. The Blab sessions are held typically on Wednesdays at either noon or 3 p.m. Eastern Time, and they are the after show. They're ideally a companion episode where we can go into some things a little bit deeper, where we take questions that came in too late to be included in the original episode, or that they come in live through the Blab event themselves. So definitely check out Troy's past episode, the letstalktechshow.com/4. Watch this Blab and check out the show at techshowpodcast.com or the letstalktechshow.com. I hope you subscribe. I hope to see you again at another Blab event, and I look forward to talking to you soon. And hope the tech gods are smiling on you.
Tech podcast, and I'm going, I need one of these. I need one of these. So I blame you for that.
All right. Well, you can use me as the excuse when you go to your wife and say, listen, honey, we have to have a new car. I have to listen to podcasts all the time. So
Exactly.
and one of the things I'm just going to, because we're all about transparency here, is I forgot to hit record. So I did that big, fabulous intro, and now I'm going to have to redo it and plug it in. Boink. So this is why I have Judy, okay? But I didn't think about how, giving her the ability to hit the old record button for me. So here's a lesson to you. You need somebody to help you out in the chat, and you need to hit that little button that puts the red light on that says, hey, we're recording. So, okay. So I'm so thrilled to have Troy here for lots of reasons. One was because one of the comments that I got about his episode at the letstalktechshow.com/4 was that guy sounds lots of fun. You sounded like you were having a good time, which
Always.
I think that's so awesome that people were able to get that, because we were having a good time. Troy really is lots of fun, and he shared great information about CRMs. So let's dive in here and answer some questions for people. Not sure how long this will be, maybe about 20-30 minutes, depends on how many questions you have. So we're here in the moment. We'll see what goes on. But let's just recap a couple of things for folks, Troy, who may be late to the party and haven't been able to listen to that episode. What the heck is a CRM, and who needs one? Why do they need them?
Sure. So that's a really, really great question, and it's one we get often, and it's one that I forget to that I typically buzz through. I work for a CRM company, and people go, glass eyes, what have you. CRM stands for Customer Relationship Management, but simply put it's a way to manage your customers, prospects, and leads. We all have CRMs. A CRM could be as simple as, I'm going to go off camera here for a second. But a CRM, honestly, can be as simple as a binder full of information. It could be your phone. It could be, an Excel sheet that you keep notes and data in. But a CRM is a software program, or it actually could be hardware as well. But the industry is getting away from that. But it's your Microsoft Outlook, believe it or not. But it's simply a way to organize your data. And there are thousands of us out there. But here at Address 2, we try to keep things as simple as possible. And we don't want you to be in it all day. It's a sales and marketing tool that helps you stay in better contact with your clients and prospects. That's the one thing that attracted me to it. I did used to keep that binder full of information, and it just got to be everywhere. A CRM helps you organize your business, to put it simply.
Okay. So then the people who need that would be anybody who is really trying to, develop and maintain relationships with people, right? So in theory, we all need something. And yeah, you mentioned these different types that maybe we didn't even think about. We're all using something, but I'm going to guess that some of these tools that we're using were probably either not developed with that in mind as a primary focus, relationship management or development, and we're just kind of like maybe hybridizing, if that's the right concept. using something maybe that's not completely right for the job.
Absolutely. Right. But I wouldn't even say that, though. One of the things I would tell you is that, Outlook is a great way to get organized. A true CRM is the next step for those that want to just get even more organized.
Okay.
The binder worked, but then I was honestly, I found that I missed an opportunity, which is what attracted me to the CRM world. I literally had that binder full of information and was leafing through it and went, uh-oh, I didn't call that guy. And I called him. I lost a sales opportunity because I didn't stay on top of things like I should have. And that's what, Address 2 and my CRM helped me do, was not let those opportunities slip through the cracks any longer.
Yeah, and let's face it, as our business grows and develops, it gets more complex. You've got more stuff that you've got to keep track of, and your brain can only hold so much. My day is going to have to end a little bit early because starting at 4:30, come on, that's really not optimal for peak performance over a long haul. So really, we're looking for any tool that can help us manage all of these pieces. And as the business grows, I did an interview yesterday with Marvin Napoli of Merchant Focus about e-commerce and shopping carts and merchant providers. And he was talking about the same thing, how when your business grows, it gets more complex and you need more sophisticated tools. So then, is it fair to say that a true CRM is just a more sophisticated version of something maybe we're used to?
Absolutely. I mean, if you have a process, that's one of the things that I thought, oh, I don't need CRM. I've got a process. I've got my binder that I flip pages through and all that, right. And all that. But then honestly, I lost that opportunity where it was like, I need something just that next step. And that's what Address 2, we do here at Address 2 is that there are thousands of other things out there that may be bigger, more powerful, et cetera, but I needed that next step, and I found a home and a CRM that worked for the style of selling and marketing my business.
Okay, so then a sign that you have gotten ready for it is you are missing opportunities, you are finding yourself, oh, in the shower, I should have called that guy, or what was his name again? And when was I supposed to call him? Or those kinds of little mistakes that really chip away at the brand that you're working so hard to build. So a CRM can then support you, free up some brain space for some other work, maybe?
Oh, that's a beautiful thing, and I think we may have even talked about it in the podcast. But one of the things that I stressed is that my wife had a dress that needed dry cleaned, right? And so we had a dry cleaner in our old office, literally next door to the Address 2 office. So I took it in one day, got it dry cleaned, all that stuff. But for days, I forgot to bring it home. And finally, one night, she was like, "The event's tomorrow night. Will you please bring home my dress tomorrow?" I went in and just put into my to-do list in my CRM, don't forget to pick up dress. So as I'm working throughout the day in the office, I was like, oh, I need to pick up my wife's dress. I stopped what I was doing, got up, walked down to the dry cleaner, walked back, and I was out of the doghouse for the day. So, not only can it, it really help with, your business, but it helps you stay in the moment. Keeps you doing what you're supposed to be doing. That's what I love about the system.
So it's really leveraging your time and memory and building in a way to stay on top of all of the task work as well. You shared a great example about relationship building in that conversation we had for the show originally, where you talked about somebody, I think it was a potential prospect, and you found out that her dog was sick. Can you share that example? I thought it was really good because it showed, what I really loved about it was it showed how it just helped you be more thoughtful. I mean, you're a naturally thoughtful person anyway. This was like you on steroids, so I thought it was a really good example. Can you share that again?
Absolutely. So basically, I was calling on a prospect, and after multiple sales and marketing touches, one of the touches I did, I had talked to the gatekeeper at the office, and they had mentioned she was out of the office. Her dog was sick. back up in our conversations in the background, she was working from home one day. I heard a dog bark in the background. I was like, oh, you have dogs. I have 3 dogs of my own. I said, she's like, yeah, I've got a little 12-year-old, black lab. Her name's Chloe. In a little section in my system anyway, I just put has dog named Chloe. Well, fast forward back again, a couple weeks later as I'm calling and doing my prospecting, found out that she was out of the office that day because her dog was sick. I leaned over, literally sitting at my desk, leaned over with my cell phone in hand, took a picture of my dog, and all those picture apps on your phone that you can get, literally wrote, "Feel better soon, Chloe," and sent that prospect of mine an email. She signed up for the Address 2 service about 3 days later. And so and she just thought it was the coolest thing ever, oh my gosh, that was so sweet, etc. And it was just literally a quick mention. I was sitting in front of there taking notes. She mentioned Chloe was her dog's name. I went, Chloe is her dog's name, and moved on with the conversation. But that came back to help me in the end. Yeah,
I thought that was brilliant. And I love that it just helped you be nice. And I mean, you're a nice person anyway, but in the busyness of life, we often forget to do those little things that we would like to do, thought about doing. And this just really streamlined it, helped you be nice. We like people who are nice. We want to work with people who are nice, and really helped, I think, strengthen the know, like, trust quotient that you were already developing with her anyway. So I really love that as an example. Let's talk a little bit about how a CRM works, how your CRM works, and how people should really go about choosing one. Judy posted a really great question, but the first question let's do Judy's question first, and then we'll go to this other question that I got a couple days ago. So Judy wants to know, Troy, I need a nap this afternoon, is what I need. Does the CRM run live like a Dropbox would, or do you need to log in to get to work with it and get its notifications?
A combination of all of the above. Most CRMs today are cloud hosted, so you can access it wherever you're at, either via app or your laptop if you're sitting in a Starbucks, etc. But then our CRM in particular has a feature called Addie, ADDY. I always tell people she's my 3rd favorite person in the world. First my wife, then my mom, and then Addie. I have to make sure to specify that. But Addie, actually, every morning, it works out perfect for me because I have my typical habit. I have 2 kids. I get them ready in the mornings. I drink my coffee because I can't start my day without coffee. They're getting ready in the mornings, and I'm clearing my junk mail and Kohl's ads, etc. And I see my email from Addie. Addie emails you what you need to do throughout the day. And I see it. And personally, I delete it and I work directly in the software itself. But it's also a good reminder of what you have to do throughout the day. And most CRMs work that way as well. So you do have online and sort of offline or ways to stay in touch with your software.
Okay, and it's that immediate task notification that, hey, you got all this stuff going on today, so get going. Don't have a second cup of coffee.
I love it because I know to brew another cup or a pot, if you will, because I'll go in and be like, I've got a lot of stuff I got to get done today, and I'll delete it and you go, okay, I got to really get to the office because I got 8.5 hours to get things done today. Or I'll go, going to be an easy day today, and I'll sip my coffee a little slower, maybe.
Right. Yeah, as long as the tech gods are smiling. So one question that I thought was really interesting on a couple of levels was, how do you choose and find and choose a CRM that is easy to learn and easy to use? So do you want to comment on this whole how do you find one and this easy concept, and then I'll give my 2 cents too.
Absolutely. There's a couple things that I'll definitely mention. One is ask. Actually, let me take that back. The first thing to do is ask. Ask if you have referral partners or just, maybe even customers for that matter that maybe have a similar business that you do. Ask how they stay more organized, how they stay in contact with people. And if they say, I use XYZ CRM, go check it out. Do you have to sign up immediately? No, but go check it out. Do your research. The second thing that I want to mention, this happened yesterday, and I thought, I don't think anything of it because it's just me, but a gentleman called me yesterday who had been shopping for CRMs and said, hey, I really liked how you had plenty of tutorials. While some of these CRM companies that are out there, and this is kind of my CRM soapbox, if you will, some of these CRM companies that are out there do offer really great CRMs, but from a sales standpoint, they've got one video that's a quick general overview of, hey, this is what we do. And there's nothing else for that person to research before they dive into it. When they can go in and say, hey, what's important to me is staying organized, email marketing, and basically being able to manage my staff, if you will. They want to know how. They don't want to see some marketing piece. So showing a video or even putting a blog up about, staying more organized in your business. Here's how we do it at Address 2. Do your research and pick three, four things that are very important to your company, and then go for it. Start doing your research, and truthfully, call a CRM company and ask them for help picking one. If you don't get a good feeling from them, I don't beat around the bush. Some people will call me and ask, and I ask the right questions as far as a salesperson goes. And I'll be frank with people. Sometimes we're not a good fit for what they're looking for. We know our niche market place in the CRM world. And so a lot of times I'll say, hey, you need to think about this, this, and this. You're looking for more of a B2C CRM than a B2B CRM, or if they say, hey, I'm looking at these three, I'll be truthful with them and say, hey, if somebody's not truthful, hey, this CRM's really bad. Well, the truth be told is that if it was really bad, it wouldn't be on the market anymore. Right. I'm truthful with people when they say, hey, I'm looking at Address 2, I'm looking at this CRM and this CRM. What are your feelings on them? Right. And I'll say, hey, Salesforce is a great CRM, or, so on and so forth. But there's certain aspects of Salesforce that Address 2 doesn't cover, and certain aspects of Address 2 that Salesforce doesn't do. So I leave that conversation open as a salesperson.
Yeah, I think those are great insights, and I think it also depends on how you like to work. Not that there aren't new habits that are involved, right? Whenever you are adopting any new tool, you've got to retrain yourself to now use that tool, or else you're going to continue to write stuff down and stick it in your wallet or something. So that, I think, is one thing, recognizing that you're either willing or not willing to learn something new, and then recognizing that you're probably going to have to allow a little extra time in your day or in whatever to manage the learning of the new tool. And then I think it also speaks to a sensitivity to how do you like to learn, how do you like to work, and what's your definition of easy to learn. I'll just give you an example. When I was first out on my own, okay, I need an email system, right? And I didn't know from email. I didn't know what I needed and what I needed to think about. I literally didn't know what I didn't know. So some guru said, well, you should use this because this is what I use and it's really awesome. And it was like bringing a fire truck to a squirt gun contest or something, So you really want to think about where your business is, how complex it is, and then how big of a piece of equipment do you need, and what are you willing to do to learn how to use it. I bought training on that stupid thing, so I paid a couple of $100 to learn how to use it. I still didn't know how to use it. And so when I then found my current provider, it literally drag and drop. Now, that is easy for me. So I think you want to, as you're evaluating tools, you want to look at how do you like to learn, and do they have training and resources in that learning style that are going to support you. So I checked out another internet or email service provider at one point, and they didn't have a lot of resources and like videos and PDFs. I like to print stuff out and watch the video and all that. And I had to call about a question, and the girl said, "Oh, we're always here." I'm like, "No, I don't always want to call you.
Yeah.
Sometimes I just want to figure it out and get going." So,
I'll chime in there too. That's absolutely a unbelievably great point. I would consider myself, a pretty big techie, if you will. I recently found, and I won't name the software program, off the top of for prosperity's sake, but I had found a software program that I was extremely interested in, especially not only from just a personal level to help me as a salesperson, but also from a level of, I think that this could be a great software program to tell my customers about. One of the things that threw up a red flag, number one, was price was a little, it was up there, but it was manageable. The other one is that they had email only support. And I don't believe they offered, in-person or phone support, even at a higher paying level. And so I was extremely interested, reached out to them 2 or 3 times and just said, I have a simple question that it's not working on my system right now. Could you please somebody pick up the phone? I said, it'll take you 30 seconds, I'm sure. And I got sorry, we only provide email support. And honestly, that was a huge opportunity loss for this company, because we have about 9,000 customers here at Address 2. I was willing to pay for the actual product itself. And I kind of went, I'm going to pay somebody to develop this on my software program instead of, try to tie into yours.
I'll figure out how to jury rig things together with Zapier or something, to make some kind of connection here, because, I'm sorry. And maybe it's the older I get, the less patience I have for it, but you're not getting my money if you're not going to provide me some support. And
Absolutely.
Just email, I'm sorry, it's not good enough. It's not good enough, and especially with, when you're paying decent money for something that is supposed to do X and it's doing A. I want to talk to you and I'm with you on that one.
So speaking of that, though, for anybody that is listening, I use a tool, and it's a free tool, so hopefully this is maybe a nugget for folks. It's called Jing, Jing. It's by TechSmith. It is an amazing, amazing piece of software that basically, if somebody emails me, the stinky thing about me too is I say, email only support. The best way to communicate with me is actually via email. But I do pick up the phone, but I'm always on the phone. But if somebody emails me a tech question, or for that matter, if you have a tech question for your small business, Jing is a free software program. It's by TechSmith. Make sure to look it up on TechSmith. TechSmith's website, but I can record a little 5-minute video and say, hey, this is how to do this, or hey, I have a question about this. And it has changed in the last 3 or 4 years here at Address 2. It's changed our support model because people like to see how to do things.
Yep.
And then I love it because our more complex users have recently picked it up as well. And so instead of me trying to listen and figure out what they're talking about, they use their Jing software, record it, and I go, okay, now I see what you're doing wrong. So hopefully that's a little nugget. It's actually a really cool tool.
And I'm going to amen that, because I found Jing a couple of years ago. Love it. Totally free. You can record 5-minute screen shares and you can narrate them. So I have actually had some kind of email support and done a little screen capture pointing to and explaining what's going on and what I'm seeing. And the guy goes, I have to have that, first of all. And
I hear that all the
understand what you're trying to explain to me, right? Because we're talking to people who are experts at what they do. We're not the expert in their language. So we often will use the wrong information. So, and Jing is also, not to do a big giant commercial for Jing here, but Jing is also this great little tool if you're dealing back and forth, like with a designer, you can say, oh, see this, I don't like that, I'd like this here. So get Jing, it's really fantastic. So, and Melody is saying, love Jing, and have had several tech support folks create and send me Jing videos. Yeah, they're fantastic. So so definitely do the Jing thing. So let's wrap things up, though. You want to make sure if you have any questions about CRM, I mean, this is your chance to get them unvarnished, get them answered. So make sure you enter them in the chat area. And as Judy has been reminding you, you want to use / and the letter Q and then space and then your question. And then that will put your question up in that, I have a question area that it will pop up in, so I can see that we've got one. So I don't have to keep looking down at the bottom of the screen and trying to figure out what's that, or maybe actually putting on my husband's glasses so I can, which are mine actually, because he stole them from me. But anyway, so definitely then you want to make sure that you're thinking about how you run your business. Where are things breaking down in your overall process? And, do you even have a process? I think part of this makes you go, I don't even have a process. So that's probably the best time to bring in a CRM, because you don't have to make something fit, right? You can create the process and then build the CRM in it. So you're going to look at that. You're going to think about how you like to process information, how you like to learn a new tool. You're going to make time in your schedule to learn the tool. Take advantage of whatever free trial or something like that and really apply it. Really try, right? I'd be ashamed to admit how many times I've bought something and missed out on the free trial because I was an idiot, didn't schedule the time, in my calendar. Make sure you do that. And recognize that it's going to take you a few extra minutes as you start to adopt these new behaviors and before it becomes a habit. So that's a big issue too, because that's what we're talking about here with any new tool that we're using. It's helping us adopt this new habit. That's why we hate Facebook when they switch things up, because you were in the habit of just going right there and now they put it over there, right?
Aren't you so glad that they don't make the biggest changes anymore? Remember back like 3 or 4 years ago, it seemed like they were making gigantic changes every time we turned around.
Yeah.
I would definitely chime in there and just say, yeah, I mean, the biggest thing is it's a habit, but it's a habit for the better. Also to kind of piggyback on that habit thing is that you use it every day. Even if it's, hey, I get in, I check my email, I check my address to account, and I do my task list for the day. We have a lot of salespeople that use address to, and that's exactly their habit. Walk into the office, grab their cup of coffee, sit down, check their email for anything important, check out address 2 for anything important that needs to get taken care of. And then those guys hit the road, and they're out, working and doing what they need to do. Even if it's taking notes on a piece of paper, they come back into the office at the end of the day, or they take that paper at the end of the day and put it back into the system. If I could figure out how to, get the habit and teach people that habit forming activity, that's where the key lies with any CRM. The other thing I want to chime in before we, kind of wrap things up, and I'm free forever, until 3 o'clock because I have a demo. But anyway, one of the things I would definitely chime in to say is that what's the cost of a lost opportunity? That's the biggest thing that attracted me to Address 2. At the time before I came to work for the company, I worked for another organization, and I knew for me that the $30 or the $50 or whichever plan I signed up for a small business, it was like, I don't know, I have to justify that. In all seriousness, I tried it out for the 30 days. I lost that opportunity, and I went, well, if I would have actually just stayed on top of that and got that opportunity, I would have made more on that one opportunity than I would have made over the entire, what I paid for the Address 2 system over the year. And immediately I went, here's my credit card. Yeah. And so that's the biggest thing that I would tell people is that how much is what is the cost of your business in a lost opportunity? And if the cost of that lost opportunity outweighs the price of finding something that helps you, then you need to be looking at a CRM.
Yeah, and I can really amen that. I was just before this session, I was just on a call with my very dear friend who is launching a podcast, and I'm her co-host actually. So we were doing, we're getting ready to launch the show. So you got to do all the episodes ahead of time so you can launch, which is how Troy and I met, because he was one of my very first interviews. And for Lisa's show, which is going to be Healthy Business, Healthy Profits, this episode we were on today was all about cash flow and cash forecasting. And we were looking at, the craziness of trying to manage cash flow in a startup and in a growth a mode business. And when you're looking at making decisions, something that's going to get you to the money faster is going to be worth an investment sooner than something maybe that, that new printer you need, right? So that's really a great way, I think, that, and I can't wait till she releases the show, till we launch, because she's got such great information. And this was really one of them. Think about what's going to bring in the revenue faster and easier for you. And to me, it sounds like a CRM would be an important part of that process as you then develop those new habits and as you really start to fine-tune your processes and think, and that just makes people say yes faster, you get paid faster, you pay the bills faster. It just takes the pressure off of you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So,
I mean,
awesome.
Especially if I was just sitting here because you said the keyword relationship, and that's what I tell people all the time with the CRM itself is there's a C and there's an M, but the key is relationship building. I mean, you and I've got a great relationship going, but that's because I reached out to you.
He did. And he just had a blip on his internet. So I'm just going to tell you how this is actually a funny story. How we met was someone from his sales team reached out to me to pitch me his CRM. And I said, well, actually, I'm launching this show and I would love to have you on it. So that was how we started to talk. And then Troy obviously jumped in and said yes. And, the rest, as they say, is history. So, and I'm just letting him back in here. So, and the internet's great when it works. Exactly. So I was just sharing with them the continuation of that story, Troy, how we actually met because someone on your sales team reached out to me and I said, hey, I'm doing this show. How about if we hook up? And the rest is history.
And if you get to be friends with Winnie, you get fudge in the mail, which,
you do.
I didn't tell everybody that. Sorry, Winnie. You're gonna have. I think we've had 19 viewers. You're gonna have 19 orders of fudge here before you know it.
Sorry, but you got to be on the show. My thank you is when I was living back in South Jersey, I would do live training events, and especially partnered with the local Small Business Development Center, and we would promote these events in the newspaper, and I would get standing room only for some of them, especially when they were really around tech. And I would bake cookies for the people who showed up because I felt so badly. Some of them had driven hours, from Philly to come down to the shore and see these events. So I would bake cookies. So when I launched the show, I like to do something a little bit unusual to say thank you. And I found a great fudge recipe. So yeah, Troy's gotten fudge.
It's an awesome thing because I've got a good friend who's a business coach, and he calls it lumpy mail, Lumpy, lumpy mail, and it gets people to open it. We all get bombarded. I was just thinking on my way from the mailbox yesterday with my 10 newspapers and my coupons and all that. I was like, gosh, trash. But then it's like, what is this? You open it up. I mean,
and
you're doing something right. And Yay. It was fudge. One of my favorite things in the world.
Yeah, I mean, come on. If you're trying to build a relationship, fudge, I want you to know, goes a long way. So, so I take just, doesn't take, and I love fudge because it doesn't take a long time to make, but it has a big impact when people go, well, fudge, yay me. So, so build gratitude and thankfulness into whatever your process that you're using. So it looks like, okay. So we've got a great question here from someone right at the end, and it says, I'm in planning. Okay, so I'm going to say I'm in planning department. So I'm going to say I'm in the planning department. Maybe that's what you were trying to say. How would a CRM be helpful for me? So actually, that's an interesting question. Does it work for other departments, or does a CRM really only work for the sales and marketing team?
Really, when it boils down to it, it's a repository for everything in your business. So it's one place that you've got, it's a silo. Here is this silo that has everything in it. I would just say to the Twitter user here, planning for what? Are you planning product launches? Procurement planning.
Well, vendor relationships, then I'm going to guess, right? You want to work with great vendors. They want to work with you. Does that work, Troy?
Absolutely. So in that case, that would be a VRM, vendor relationship management. And there are vendor relationship management software programs out there. Can Address 2 do it? Yeah, it depends on if that is the only thing you're wanting to do is vendor relationship, or if the true, problem the problem is that you're trying to manage your vendors, then go look for a vendor relationship management software.
Yeah, that was a really great question and an honest answer, Troy. So I appreciate that. And just to let you guys know, Troy does demos. I mean, he just mentioned that he has a demo at 3:00 today. I know that, and I'm sorry because it's been a while since I've been on your website. Do you have videos that are available there, Troy, for people in pre-sales, or can they schedule a private demo? How does that work?
Absolutely. So there are plenty. There's about 32 different tutorial videos on our website. So, the first one you would go and watch the, let me get on here real quick. The first one you would go and watch would be the general tutorial video. And I'll throw a link up here as I'm typing and talking. Boom. There's the link to our general tutorial videos. And then what I'll also throw a link up here is every Wednesday at 3:00 Eastern Standard Time, I host a live demo. It's pretty fun, and I won't beat around the bush. It can be kind of all over the place because I start off with about the first 20 minutes as a general overview saying, hey, this is what Address 2 does. And then the last 40 minutes or so, I literally sit here and take questions like we are here on Blab. And it's, it can be anywhere from, hey, had a question about this or had a problem with this, and I'll address that. And it's good. And by the way, this is another tip for anybody using any CRM software is go to those demos as long as they offer them, which they should. Go to those demos, especially as you're starting out, go to one or two, but then put a calendar reminder in to go to one, a month later, 3 months later. Pop in because you never know what you don't know. And even though it may be the same thing over and over, you may be, doing something in the background and they say, hey, did you know you can do, not only can you trigger emails, but you can trigger tasks as well in your CRM. And you go, what? And it'll catch your attention. So educate yourself about your CRM. I know, initially you'll go in for one reason and one reason only. I want to, do this for email marketing purposes, or I want to do this so I stay more organized and sell better. But then once you're got the hang of that, go to another one of those because you'll be like, I can do pipeline and deal management. And it's just interesting that people go, oh, I'm so glad I came to this. I didn't realize that I could track deals as well in the CRM.
Yeah, that's great tip. Great tip. Take notes when you go to one of those things. Know ahead of time the key issues, as Troy mentioned, where are the problems in your business and your process. Maybe the fact is you don't have a process, and that's one of the problems, but that's also something that you know about your business going in, because maybe something that you're going to test out, you have to have a process or this isn't going to work. So definitely watch those demos. Schedule a private one if you think you're really seriously considering. You're down to 2, right? Maybe then it's time for a private demo to get your questions answered privately, to see how you feel about the person who you would be dealing with. So great. That's great information. Those are great thoughts.
Yeah. And reach out. Again, all frustrations with that other software program that I was talking about aside is that, and I tried to reach out and didn't get the answer I wanted. But one of the things I find, I had to giggle a little bit because it's all about CRM. It's about building those relationships. We've been around for about 8 years now, and about 1.5 to 2 years ago, we redeveloped our platform into a newer, simple, sleek, faster program. And we had migrated a company who was on our old program to our new program. Truth be told is that, they migrated, they were okay, but I sent that email to them saying, hey, how are things going? And oh my goodness, I got a plethora back. And literally they were like, we don't like this new system. And it was a matter of, I said, okay, why don't you like it? And they gave me a list, and I was able to reach out to them again and say, hey, got your list. Can we schedule a time with your staff to sit down, just like we do here on Blab or whatever? Can we set a time aside to sit down and talk about that? I just literally deleted the email, I think. Hold on, let me see if I can find it real quick here, because I want to read it to you, because again, it's all about the follow-up. It's all about taking care of people and building those relationships. His name was I got it, hold on, Gary. Again, and a long-time customer. I mean, it goes with that saying of what is that saying as far as it takes 80%, or it's easier to keep a customer than
it can cost you like 25 times as much to gain a new customer as it does to retain one. So yeah, an expert, just an aside, an expert on that kind of information, Mark Murphy, leadershipiq.com. Love him.
Yep, absolutely. Here's the email. Your training session was immensely helpful. A lot of sales reps' issues were just lack of know-how. So thank you very much. I just wanted to make sure they were taken care of. And again, ask those questions. Don't be afraid to really press somebody. I try to press back because I'm like, hey, what's going on? I'm here to help. If you don't get those answers, you're probably with the wrong service.
Yeah, and a lot of times people just don't even know what to ask. So just saying, hey, do you have any questions? No, because I don't know what I don't know. So I don't know what to ask. So keeping track of the questions that people do ask you, and then, being responsive when those issues come up, that's fantastic. So one last question, and then we'll wrap things up. Troy.
Oh, hold on, though. Hold on. I have, when I first started at Address 2, 3 sheets of paper, and I pull these out when I do. They sit right in my bag, right next to my desk. And if somebody says, "What other questions what other questions am I not asking?" I'll just take a brief. Here's 14, and there's 20 there, and I'll literally go, "Can you give me just a second?" Okay, they asked that. Oh, hey, why are you looking, tell me why you're looking for a new solution, or what's your fear of switching over to a new tool? I said, those are the questions that you need to be asking me. And they're like, oh, okay. And I literally, pull those out. And so, that's what we're here to help for.
That's an awesome example. So, you guys are getting tips to even build into your own process, because I love that idea. And I love bringing up the issue of what are you afraid of about saying yes, or about what are you afraid of about changing and using this, because that's really what is often stopping us. It's fear of the unknown, that, I don't know if I'll make myself do it. I don't know if this is really going to have that payoff. So even helping somebody figure out the true value, like Troy illustrated, if he had made that deal, he would have made more than once the full value of what it was that he was going to pay for, in this case, Address 2. So think about the questions that your folks aren't asking that they need to, and ask them for them. One of my mentors refers to FAQs, which we all know people ask, and then SAQs, what should they ask that they really aren't. And a lot of times it comes down to that they're a little bit fearful and they don't want to be embarrassed. So that's a great opportunity for you to ask what they see as a stupid question, but they really have, and they're just afraid to ask it. So one last thing, and then we'll wrap things up here, is I know so many of us are concerned about safety and security of data, ours and our clients and our potential clients. So Troy, can you talk a little bit about how does Address 2 or how does a CRM protect the data that we're entering into it?
Well, the first thing, it was a really rough sales pitch, but the first thing I did to somebody, and again, this is a rough example, but first thing I did to somebody was I went, oh, your one sheets are all in that binder. Cool. And I walked off. No! And they went, what? No. Truth be told is, I do use this. This is I own a disc jockey company on the side, and this is my third party backup of my data. And it's contracts, but at least if I lose anything anywhere, which I don't, I still have this. So that's the one thing is, that's great. What makes me nervous is people that use paper calendars and don't, is people that use paper calendars, but then don't transfer that over to a digital calendar. All that digital stuff, you can find it again. Right. One of the things I encourage people to do is not a new tool, but the Microsoft Outlook 365. I mean, you've got Outlook, which is great, but what happens when Outlook stops working? 3 years ago, it happened to me. I could open Outlook, I could get my emails, but my calendar would not work. But the cool thing was that I could see I had stuff on it, but I couldn't access what those were. I was like, I know I have an appointment today. What do I do? Long story short is I was able to find how I could export my calendar into sheets like this. And I was able to export my calendar and see those on a paper calendar, which was awesome. But then I had to go in and retransfer all that over into Outlook 365. Outlook 365, if your computer crashes, you go to Best Buy, buy a new one. Literally go to Outlook 365, type in your username and password, and it's all there. Same with your CRM. You've got a lot of customer data in there, and as soon your computer crashes, www.mycrm.com, and you log in, and hey, all of my stuff is there. That is the security that the cloud offers people. I know a lot of people are scared of cloud services. Or I shouldn't say a lot of people, but every once in a while, ooh, no, I don't want cloud. It's so much more dangerous to just host it on your own information. I mean, what if you had a flood and you're like, hey, I've got a server, blah 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 blah. If your server is in your basement, happened to a good friend of mine, they lost everything. You risk more not putting things in the cloud than you risk in having it, on the cloud, is what I would tell you.
Yeah, that's a great answer. And I did an interview recently with Duncan Moss of mossmedia.ca, and we talked about video. And he talked about how important it is to have your video stored in multiple locations. One is the cloud, one is on your existing drive for easy access, that you're right there. And then another is a portable drive. So he talked about how, and then maybe on disks. So you want to have these multiple backups. It pays to be a little paranoid, as my husband, the corporate lawyer, would say. So you really do want to think about that you need to have it in multiple places so that it is protected. And then follow good practices with your own office computer, home computer, wherever it is that you're working. So Troy, I want to thank you so much for being such a great sport and jumping in here. And remember, Troy's full episode on Let's Talk Tech can be found at techshowpodcast.com. It can also be found at theletstalktechshow.com/4. And you can listen into the great interview that we did together, which was so much fun, where Troy answered some of these questions, but some brand new questions, and really went into how to make a good choice when you're trying to decide on a CRM for you and your organization. So if you like what you have heard and what you've seen today, I hope that you will check out Let's Talk Tech. You can go to techshowpodcast.com, and that will get you to iTunes. You want to subscribe there and download, and that will help you make sure that you're getting the episodes delivered to the device of choice. And then you can also sign up, become a fan of the show at theletstalktechshow.com, and that's where you're going to get the free resources that we have available for you. We've got an actual questionnaire that I created to help you figure out and choose from among different tech tools that you're looking at. There is a spreadsheet with a list of directories, free directories that you can go and claim your listing. I just put up one that is a resource all about color that my friend and brand developer Sue Brattel created, so you want to make sure you get that. So there are lots of ways that you can get resources and get connected with the show. And Judy shares in here in the chat the show's group on Facebook. So you want to definitely make sure that you become a part of the group. That's a great way for you to ask questions in a really safe environment. So when you're just wondering, how does this thing work? Or how do I fix this? that's a safe place for you to go, and we'll connect you to an answer. We'll help you find the answer for you. So this has been Winnie Anderson with Let's Talk Tech. Thanks a lot for joining me today, and thanks for the fabulous Troy being such a great guest. Loved having you on this blab, and look forward to talking to you and you guys in the audience real soon. Have a great day, and check us out next week. You want to be sure to follow me because we got more blabs, more after shows coming up. So see you later. I'm going to stop the recording.